Okay, so today's market review for Wednesday, July 8th, of the micro and Q. And as always, we're going to start with the market context here real quick. So this is the 4 hour. Let's start with the daily here real quick. Just have a quick look. Weekly support, busy here. Daily, nothing interesting. So the 4 hour. Okay, so 4 hour we broke lower here. So downtrend, we do have clean lows down here. Nothing else, so the 4 hour is really not interesting for us. On the hourly, we can see that we have a busy over here. Relative equal lows down here as well. And also we had an hourly downtrend here with the big SIBI in here, which we came back into. And then obviously I marked up the hourly trend liquidity down here. 15 minutes. We also had this big 15-minute SIBI work coming back in here and before the market opened. And we had quite a lot of low resistance liquidity here. More visible on the 5 minutes. So a lot of sell side here. I like that today. And we were in the SIBI, so 5 minutes. We had one 5 minute up here. London high was up here. And then on the 1 minute, we can see these levels were really, really clean. And I marked the 5 minutes up here. So this is market open. Second, we're going to go through what was my plan today for the session. We have all of these liquidity levels down here that was super clean, low resistance liquidity. We had the hourly trend liquidity down here, and essentially the hourly SIBI and the 15-minute SIBI, which we were inside of here. So I was really looking for the market to take out the highs here, maybe mitigate the 5 minute, but then come back down and take out all of these levels of liquidity. That was my original plan for today. All right, what actually happened? That's we're going to go through that now. Let's see. So market opened. This what immediately got noted here is the opening range gap. It's red. That means it's bigger than 120 points bearish, right? So we opened up, immediately filled the lower quadrant here, and we aggressively went higher into the 5 minute up here. So this was a classic, for me, this was a classic Judas swing here to the upside, and I like that a lot. Then we got a really, really small first AM here, which I didn't like. And here, I already said, if we are going to close below the first AM, I am not going to short that. Why? Because on the 2 minute, we had this gap, 3 minutes, and all of the other time frames, we had a gap here. So I would not short the first AM inversion here, right? And as we'll see in 2 minutes, so the 40. Now we also have a 5 minute gap, which I will quickly mark up. All right, so we have the 5 minute gap in here, and then we closed below the first AM, but I didn't take that short. Why? Because we formed that 5 minute, and on the lower time frames, like 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, we had BISIs down here. So no short for me yet. Then the market went higher. It was really, really aggressive today. And at that point, we also had another 15-minute gap here. Second. Yeah, exactly. So now we also have a new 15-minute gap in here, which I'm quickly going to mark up. All right, so I also marked up the 15-minute here. We went higher up. Was pretty aggressive at that point. And then we broke lower, but I didn't trade this, right? I didn't short in any type of way here, even though we had an MSS here. Why? Because we have the 5 minute BISI and the 15-minute BISI. So from here on out, I was basically only looking at the 5 minute and 15-minute because we had a clear uptrend. So no shorting on the 1 minute here, right? So 15-minute gap here and the 5 minute gap here. So let's see how it played out. And then the market got really choppy. I didn't like that. I was just sitting at my desk doing something else while this market happened here, and then we broke lower. But as long as we are still respecting the 15-minute BISI and the 5-minute BISI, I was not looking for shorts in any type of way, right? Let's check on the 1 minute. As you can see, it was really choppy and just going sideways, so I really didn't like that at all. So I was only looking at the 5 minutes, because as soon as we close below this 5-minute gap, I would be interested in shorts later on. So let's see. So here we went lower, and then that's it exactly here. So here we closed below on the 5 minute, right? And on the 1 minute, we broke down lower. What I did here was I stuck to the 5 minute, right? I placed my entry at the 5 minute inversion gap, which is this one here. And my stop loss was this last up candle, the CE, right? The middle of this candle was my stop loss, and my draw was, first target was here with the relative equal lows and the lower time frame BISIs in here, and then the second target down here with that one. So that was my entry, and we got that, and it was really, really close. Like, the market shot up, but I got so lucky. It was like by 2 ticks, I think it missed my stop, right? So the high of this candle here was 299.75, and my stop was at 325. So 2 ticks, it missed my stop by 2 ticks. So I got really lucky here, but I still stuck with it. And then we also saw on the 1 minute that we had formed a buy side, a BISI. And if we would invert that, I would really like that again to the downside. I stuck with that trade for now, but I was really unsure now because the market really shot up really, really quickly. I got really lucky that it didn't kick me out up here. And then I stuck with it, still watching the 5 minute, because on the 1 minute, it was too much noise for me, too much happening. I didn't like that at all. So I was just watching the 5 minute here, and we eventually got down to the first target here. Then we had a bit of a hard time here, but as you will see, we kept going down, and here I got my full TP. But this was definitely a session you could have skipped. I thought about skipping the session while this shit happened, but when the AM open and the AM mid is really shitty, I tend to wait for the 11 AM macro, right? So 10:50 till 11:10 is like the 11 AM macro. I tend to wait for that because sometimes when the AM open is shit, the 11 AM macro comes in and oftentimes gives us a clean setup, and that was the case here. It was not clean at all, but it definitely worked out, and the market kind of opened up,